Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me today is Sree TR Ramesh, and we're going to talk about this Modi versus Stalin, where Narendra Modi has, perhaps the first time as a prime minister, uttered some concerns about the way the Hindu temples are being handled by various governments. So this has started, kicked a storm, if you will, and I'm going to place with you a couple of slides to set the context and then have Sree Ramesh weigh in. First, let's welcome Sree TR Ramesh. But before that, like this video and also subscribe to our channel. Rameshji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
PGurus opportunity is always a great opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. Rameshji, I'm just going to set the context here. There is a couple of slides about what Stalin responded to Modi, who had expressed his concern about the way the temples are being managed. So let's take a quick look at this slide, sir. Just one or two slides.
Sure.
Stalin refuted Modi, saying that how Narendra Modi, who holds a responsible and high office in the nation, could level such a wrong and defamatory allegation. He also hit out at a Tamil newspaper for publishing the lie uttered by the Prime Minister. Sir, if Prime Minister says something, the newspaper is going to carry it. I don't understand why he has to take pot shots at the newspaper. Let's let it go. The next one, he says he also mentioned the work that his government has done in regard with temples. He said that his government has reclaimed temple land worth 3,700 crore rupees in the 2 years since they came to power. Please tell me, is this wrong? We have held consecration ceremonies for 1,000 temples. Is this wrong? Work is on at a cost of 100 crore to refurbish 112 historic temples that are 1,000 years old. Is this wrong? Blah, blah, blah. First question, sir. This number has been bandied by DMK also. How? Maybe you can set the context. Take it away, sir. Where exactly is things? Where do things exactly stand today?
Okay. Now, Prime Minister Modi, while addressing a meeting in Telangana, came down on Congress party, which had only targeted Hindu temples for takeover through various state governments, particularly in South India. Now, this is a statement which is made by a Prime Minister. For the very first time, I'm seeing a statement from the Prime Minister like this. And if you ask me if the statement is true or false, I would say it is not 100% true. It is 200% true. Modi ji also said the Tamil Nadu government is occupying temples, it is looting temple properties, it is looting temple income. This is what got the DMK government angry, particularly the Chief Minister Stalin. Mr. Stalin he got really angry on this statement made by Modi ji. And at the first opportunity, they were holding a function, a grand function, to celebrate the 200th year of Saint Vallar. And as your slide shows, he is asking that we have recovered properties worth 3,000 odd crore rupees or 5,000 odd crore rupees. We have done consecration in 1,000 temples. And we have renovated X number of temples. Now let me put this in proper perspective. The Tamil Nadu Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowments Department has been in control of temples from 1951. Earlier, there was a HRE board, the Hindu Religious Endowments Board. The board was abolished in 1951 and the department, that is a government department, came into being. The Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowments Act of 1951 and subsequently the 1959 Act, Supreme Court's constitutional bench says this act nowhere gives the indication that one of the jobs of the government is to get into religious matters or interfere in the religious matters. Now, if the government says we have done 1,000 consecrations, we should say, who are you? Why did you not appoint trustees, Hindu worshippers, qualified trustees in temples, and you took over the job of doing consecrations? This is the question that devotees should ask the ADMK or DMK government. trustees have not been appointed for 12 years, and this is a mandatory duty cast upon the government under the Act, which they very conveniently violated, never adhered to. Now, even if you look at the claim of 1,000 consecrations being carried out, most of the consecrations were done with the money donated by devotees. They were all called donor works. Now, there is this famous habit of ADMK government, and more so with the DMK government, a habit which is given, quote and unquote, sticker job. Somebody does a good job, DMK comes and puts its name on a sticker and places it on the job and claim it has been done by it. Let the government, if it is really claiming that they have done 1,000 consecrations, let them say for which consecration, how much money was spent from the temple funds, how much money was spent from the government funds, and how much money was spent from the donor funds for each of the temple consecration. Number one. Number two, the claim of recovering 5,000 crore rupees worth of land. One thing they are never saying, or rather two things they are never saying is, what is the rent outstanding from these recovered lands? Supposing you allow a dirty scoundrel to occupy a land for 30 years, and finally you tell him, okay, you get out, we won't be asking you money, just hand over the land so that we can claim we have recovered the land. And that fellow, because he's pushed to a corner, he will vacate the land. But what about the money he has to pay for the last 30 years or 20 years, for which part of it he has been paying under the table? The government never says how much rent is due from each of the land recovered. That is a fraud on the Hindu devotees, number one. Number two, there are about 1.25 lakh acres of land which are under encroachment, at least. Out of the 4.78 lakh acres of land the temples, mutts and endowments own, at least 1.25 lakh acres are under encroachment or under hostile occupation or without any proper lease agreement and with no rents accruing to the temples or mutts or endowments. And these are definitely encroachments. The government never gives data of how much land is encroached and how much they have recovered. The former special investigation team head of the idle wing, Mr. 𝗤𝗚 𝗍𝗍𝘅 said, it is like giving gold medal to a student who has secured 3.5 marks out of 100 marks. That is what the government claim is like. Now, these are the claims made by Mr. Stalin to refute the statement of Modi ji. But the statement of Modi ji is about the DMK government occupying Hindu temples, number one. Number two, looting temple properties. And number three, looting temple income. I am doing 1,000 Kumbhabhishekam, 1,000 consecration is not an answer to this. I am doing renovation in 115 temples is not an answer to this. In fact, UNESCO said the HRNC department is unfit to do any civil works in any ancient temple. Then I have recovered 5,000 acres of lands. Again, that is not an answer to this. The answer should be, no, I am not occupying any temples. Show me one temple where I have occupied, where I am present illegally. The other answer should be, I have not misused Hindu temple properties. The third answer should be, I have not taken 1 rupee from temple fund and diverted for any other non-temple purpose. Now let's take all these three things in context. I have mentioned this in many forums, even in PGurus. On 13th December 1951, a judgment came in the Chidambaram temple matter and the Shirur Mutt matter. It was a combined judgment. A judgment reported in 1952, 1 MLJ 557, where the Honorable Division Bench of the Madras High Court struck down many sections of the 1951 Act as being unconstitutional. One set of sections struck down by the Division Bench were sections relating to notification of temples. Before 1951, about 45 major temples in Tamil Nadu were notified. These temples included the Tiruchendur temple, the Payani 𝗤𝙤 Swami temple, the Madurai Meenakshi Sundareswara temple, Srirangam Sri Ranganath Swami temple, Thiruvannamalai Sri Arunachaleswara temple, Srivilliputtooர் Nachiyar Devasthanam, Azhagar Koil Sri Kallazhagar temple, and so on. And by the striking down of the sections which upheld or which continued the notification, the presence of government in these temples became clearly illegal. Now the government should have left these temples and gone, handed over to the trustees. They did not go. In the guise of an excuse that they have filed an appeal before the Supreme Court, they continued in the temples. They could have continued in the temples had the Supreme Court stayed the order of the Honorable Division Bench of the Madras High Court. No such thing happened. And Supreme Court came with a final verdict in the Shirur Mutt in April 1954. And it said regarding the notification temple sections, these sections are extremely drastic in their character. And even the Advocate General of Madras would not defend them. We hold them to be void. We hold them to be unconstitutional. So the sections were not revived or given a lease of life, nothing. What was struck down in 1951 was upheld. If they had any sense of shame, if they had any sense of propriety, if they have any sense of moral misgiving, if they had any sense of duty towards the Hindu citizens, that the government officials should not do a fraud on the Hindu citizens and not a fraud on the statute, they should have gone out of these 45 temples. They did not go. In 1956, as if nothing happened, they, quote within unquote, they extended the notification for another 5 years. First of all, there is no notification to extend. In a recent judgment that came 3 weeks ago, Supreme Court said, if a provision has been struck down by the court as unconstitutional, the striking down of the section does not come from the date of the judgment. It comes from the date of the enactment of the section. That means the section is a stillborn child. It is non-est. It has never been there. That is from 1951, not from 13/12/1951. From September 1951, these notifications were not in place. That means the government has been there only illegally. So in 1956, they extend the notification by fraud. A GO 3069 is issued, which says these notification of these temples are extended for another 5 years. The Madhadhipati of Dharmapura Adhinam, Srila Sree Subramanya 𝗤𝙤𝙤 𝗤 Swamigal, he files a case against this extension before Madras High Court. And Madras High Court, like many of the judgments we find, they said, yes, this is wrong, but you can go and tell the commissioner. This is like telling, go tell Duryodhana that Dushasana is disrobing Draupadi. So that kind of judgment was given by High Court at that time. The Madhadhipati had wisdom, so he went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court took some time, but the case was heard by a odd number. That is like 4 judges heard the matter. On 10/2/1965, a judgment came which quashed the GO 3069 as illegal. The government, if I were to say in Tamil, yogyanaha irundha, they should have gone out of temples. At least on 10/2/1965, they should have gone. Instead of that, they bought some ordinance, and by which they brought some new sections, 75A, 75B, and 75C. 75A said, notwithstanding any judgment of any court, the notification would be deemed to continue for 1 more year. And 75B said, after 1 year, the commissioner can call for fresh notification. 75C said, if anybody wants to challenge this, he has to file a suit. These are the sections that were brought as amendments, and the ordinance became law later on, and they continued. And again, the Madhadhipati challenged this, and it took some time as things happen in Indian courts, inevitably. And a judgment by division bench of Madras High Court came in 1991. The judgment said these amendments, 75A, 75B, has been brought in only to defeat the order of the highest court of the land. The apex court's order was violated, and to violate, they brought in a semblance of law. Did the Tamil Nadu government get out of these temples? 1991, DMK was in power. They did not go out. They filed an appeal, and the appeal took its time. And Supreme Court said, we are going to throw this petition out. In 2004, they said this. Immediately, the Tamil Nadu Council says, we will withdraw the petition. So the petitions were dismissed as withdrawn. Okay. Did the government get out of these temples? Did they get out of Srirangam temple? Did they get out of Madurai temple? I have filed hundreds of RTI and asked for the order by which an executive officer is functioning in this temple. Show me the order. Invariably, they say order not traceable. Please ask the commissioner, or we are searching for the order. Something comes, but no order copy is ever shown. Now, if I take up a building on lease, let's say for 3 years, and I'm paying rent. After 3 years, the owner says the lease is ended, get out. No, I'm paying rent. I will not get out. I go to court. And then I stop paying the rent also. And finally, court passes an order, you get out. Then also, I do not get out. Then I'm an encroacher. As simple as that. The government is a bloody encroacher in Tamil Nadu. He is an encroacher. They are an encroacher of temples and Hindu temples. They should, if they had any shame, they should not take any administrative fee from these temples. The executive officers are paid in lakhs of rupees salary. And where does this money come from? They all come from our Hindu temples. Modi ji is 100%, 200% correct in saying that the Tamil Nadu government is occupying temples. These are not only about the 45 notified temples. In 2022 May, I filed a case saying in 47 other temples, there are no orders of appointment of executive officer ever issued under any valid provision. Now, before filing that case, I had issued notice to the commissioner. The commissioner gave a reply to me on 1st February 2021 saying that we are searching for the records of appointment. We need some more time. They never came back. So when I filed a case in May 2022, Honorable Division Bench said, we are prima facie agreeing with the petitioner. It asked the department, it asked the government why we should not grant the prayer of the petitioner. They issued Rule 𝗎𝚍. They also issued an order to production of all records. That means he is saying there are no orders of appointment in 47 temples. Produce the records. Now, if they had ever issued any order of appointment, at least out of the 47 temples, they said we found 10 orders. We are searching for more. We need time on that. They were not able to produce one single order. This means from the beginning and at all times, they have been in the temples only by fraud. FRAUD. Thy name is HR&C department. So this is occupation of temple. Now let me cut short and just give a few examples of occupation of properties, looting of Hindu temple properties. The property of the Madurai temple was arbitrarily taken by the government, and an office of the Joint Commissioner of HR&C was built. And it was not built with government funds. The office of the Joint Commissioner of the HR&C department is a government building, just like the office of the collector or the office of the superintendent of police or whatever. It is a government office. It should be a government building. But they took the land of a temple. They took the money from many temples and then built a Joint Commissioner's office in Madurai. They took the land of 𝗒𝙗𝙗𝗍𝙑 𝗖𝙧𝙤𝙀𝘀 temple and then built the Regional Joint Commissioner's Office of Tiruchirappalli region. For this, money from different temples were taken. Money was taken from 𝗖𝙧𝙀𝙀 temple, money was taken from Thaimanaswamy temple, money was taken from Vailur Murugan temple. Why should these temple money go in building a government building? Then in Mayiladurai, they took the land of Samandar temple and took money from Uppaliyappan temple, Swami Malai temple, Thirumananjeri temple, and built a Regional Joint Commissioner office. And they were not paying 1 rupee as rent. Similarly, land belonging to Tiruchendur Subramania Swami temple was there in Tirunelveli. They occupied the land illegally and built a Tirunelveli Regional Joint Commissioner office. And from 2001, they had not paid a single rupee as rent. This was pointed out by the auditors of the HRNC department itself. And currently, the accumulated rental arrears is about 59 lakhs without counting interest. Now, I collated all these evidences and filed a petition before Honorable Division Bench of the Madras High Court on 31st January 2023. The court, obviously, they got shocked. So many allegations, and these allegations are backed by evidences. Court ordered response from the government within 4 weeks. And no response came. I mentioned again, no response came. Again, after 2 months, I mentioned. And finally, on 29th August, the HRNC department and government files a common reply. In that reply, they say, yes, we have taken temple lands. Yes, we have taken temple money. We will return the money. They were caught with their pants down. Now, I think nobody told Mr. Stalin about all these atrocities. And when Stalin wanted to refute Prime Minister Modi ji's statement, he was given in a bit of paper about 1,001 temple consecrations, about 5,000 crore worth of property, that is not even 3% of the total property worth recovered, and some 115 temple renovations going on, in whose money? Definitely not government's money. This is the information given to him. Whereas Modi ji's allegation is about occupation of temples illegally, swindling of temple income, looting of temple property. For these three allegations, there is no answer, because this is completely true statement. And Modi ji will not make a Parthian shot just like that. Mr. Iyer, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. I've learned every time you come on our channel, Ramesh, I learned something new, and I'm really humbled. Sir, right from 51 all the way through 65, it was the Congress government that was in power, wasn't it?
The Congress fellows were there in power, and they are no less frauds than the DMK. But they claim to be this bhaktas, they claim to be incorruptible and all that. But they looted Hindu temple properties. They continue to loot. Congress was very much responsible for the 1951 Act. It was very much responsible for the 1959 Act. They knew they had no business to continue in these temples. And the 1965 amendments, ordinance were all brought by Congress government. Total frauds, especially in the matter of Hindu temples.
I would like to jog
the Dravidian movement.
I would like you to jog your memory. I would like you to jog your memory and tell us who was the chief minister in 1951. That was Madras presidency.
Yeah, Rajaji, I think, if I remember correct. I'm not sure. But 59 could be Kamraj, and 65, 67 and all, it was 𝗣𝗚𝗍𝗆.
So it runs the whole gamut of Congress chief ministers. We are just pointing out how the temple has been
After all, they are
treated
chelas
like
of
their...
Nehru. What else can you expect from them?
Very true, very true. Now, viewers, speaking of Nehru, there is now more documented evidence about Sardar Patel having made a statement that the only nationalistic Muslim that I know of is Nehru. This is now documented. That evidence is all coming out. Please keep that in mind. Please keep that in mind. So,
Well,
Rameshji, where do we go from
I
here?
once
These
tried.
people are being... Yeah, go ahead, sir.
See, no. I was just saying I once tried drawing a thin mustache on Nehru's picture. I suddenly saw Sheikh Abdullah. Anyway, coming to the occupation of temples. In 2020, I had filed a PIL, public interest litigation, listing about 70 temples where, including the 45 notified temples, government is occupying in Tamil Nadu. And these temples included even the 𝗠ci Kamachi temple, Kapalishwara temple. And court had ordered notice. Till date, not a single order they are able to show, a valid order by which they are functioning in this temple. Then 2022, I had filed for 47 temples, so that makes it about 117 temples. I now have evidences of another 200 temples where there are no orders of appointment of executive officers. All I am asking the government or Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. M.K. Stalin, or the Minister for Religious Endowments, Mr. 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝘆 𝗢𝙂, you have listed in your HRNC website 628 executive officers for different temples. Plus, there are 10 executive officers in the rank of joint commissioners, 10 in the rank of deputy commissioners, about 30 in the rank of assistant commissioners. So overall, about 670 executive officers in HRNC department with the temples named assigned against them. You have a website, you take a week's time and publish Mr. So-and-so is functioning as the executive officer in ABC temple. Miss So-and-so is functioning as executive officer in XYZ temple. This is the copy of the order of appointment of executive officer made for the very first time to this temple under a valid provision of the Act. You list down 670 appointment of executive officers in that manner. This is a challenge. If you can't publish, then you have to accept the truth that you are occupying Hindu temples. You also have to accept the statement of Narendra Modi ji. You have already accepted that you have looted temple properties in the form of a sworn affidavit before the Honorable Division Bench of Madras High Court in my case. You have also accepted that you have looted temple funds. So that aspect of Modi ji statement already stands vindicated. Will the government be ready to publish the orders? Open challenge.
Thank you so much, sir. And we'll wait and see what they do. They do believe that they have God-given right, a God that they don't believe in has given them the right to run and loot and plunder the temples of Tamil Nadu. I'm laughing because I'm crying inside.
Thanks for the opportunity once again.
We have a couple of questions, sir. We have a couple of questions for you, sir, if you don't mind. Viewers have some questions. Let's take the questions, please. First question from Lakshmi Narayanan Rajagopalan. How temples are managed in other states, especially ruled by BJP? What are the differences between them and Tamil Nadu?
The differences between them is here it is a DMK, there it is the BJP. No other difference. Scoundrels and scalawags are equal in everywhere.
Next question, please. Ramesh Srinivasa Raghavan wants to know, how can anyone be let go when they are not able to trace official documents like appointment orders? If they can't, how can they be trusted with state secrets? This is a serious threat to national security.
I don't know about national security, but serious threat to our murtis, the temple properties, the antique jewels there, if at all anything is left, our icons, our statuaries, our heritage, our traditions, serious threat.
Next one, please. 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝘀𝘆 wants to know, today 10 people subscribed to PGurus. I came for one immersion program to IIM Calcutta. There was a discussion about demonetization. I spoke some words from which I know from your hangouts. Thank you. Thank you so much, 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝘀𝘆 ji, for speaking up for me. Next one, please. Bala wants to know, Ramesh sir, if government has not responded to these notices, is it not the duty to accept the plea and shunt the HREs out of the temple? What use the court at all?
Well, courts take time. And after all, the respondent, the other side is the government. There is a presumption when a law is introduced by a government, there's a presumption that the law is valid. Somebody challenges a law, they will not get immediate relief unless otherwise the court thinks prima facie there's something wrong in the law. Similarly, if government takes its own time to respond, the courts condone such delays. I filed a case in 2020 for 70 temples. A proper hearing is yet to happen. Let's see when the proper hearing happens. And I have also got some good relief from the honorable courts. Like the DMK government in 2019, scandalously, they wanted to give the lands to the encroachers themselves. And in such easy terms. Only a scoundrel can think, not a honorable or a honest official can come with such government orders. But vote bank politics made them to come with such a proposal. The court immediately stayed the operation of the GO. The judges came down heavily on the government. It also ordered biometric verification of all the encroachers in the state who are occupying temple lands. Till date, not one step has been taken by the ADMK government or the DMK government in that direction. I'll be soon moving the court on getting it implemented. Similarly, when DMK government wanted to start 10 secular colleges with temple funds, like one college for Stalin's constituency and one college for Kanimozhi's constituency, the court stayed the operation or the starting of 6 colleges, and it allowed the 4 colleges to function subject to the final order. That case is still going on. The matter came yesterday before a honorable division bench, and as usual, government took time and ran away. This keeps happening, but finally judgment will come. Courts take time in India. We have to understand
that. Next question, please. Ram Guruswamy wants to know, what's the amount of income being accrued and how much is being spent on HRM staff?
What is HRM staff?
HR and CE, I think.
HR and CE staff.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just looking at it
government
like a business.
Takes it's a good question. It's a very good question because people need to know government is charging Hindu temples 12% as administration fee in Tamil Nadu and 4% as audit fee. A stupid, useless audit. For that, they're charging 4% of the total income. Why I'm saying it's a stupid audit? Number one, it's not an external audit by chartered accountants. The audit is done as an internal audit, and they don't even have an audit manual. Not a single chartered accountant is there. Second, the audit objections are pending from 1986 without any resolution, and the number of audit objections pending is 1.8 million audit objections. A staggering amount. So it's a total waste of an audit, but they take 4% of the temple income for doing such a lousy audit and lousy follow-up. Now this audit fee and the administration fee, 16% comes to about 400 crore rupees every year. Currently Currently, for the last 3-4 years, it is coming to 400 crore rupees from the Hindu temple money government is taking, and the total administration cost of the HRNC department, not just the salary. The total administration cost, the vehicle cost, the office cost, the electricity cost, the salary cost, etc., retirement benefit costs, is 120 crores. That means more than 3 times they are taking from the temples as fees. The fees cannot be so many times more than what actually happens. A tax can be any amount. Indira Gandhi taxed people 90% of the income, calling it super tax. But fee has to be reasonable, moderate, and close to the amount actually expended. To the extent possible. It may be a little more, it may be a little less. But making 3 times profit, people who are sincere, who want temples to flourish, will not do it. Looters will do it. One is you take the temple money, looting temple money illegally. Second, you are looting temple money by way of administration through a provision in the HRNC Act, so as to say it is legal. This percentage also needs to be challenged.
And last question, please. Karthik Swaminathan wants to know, why can't this be contempt of court and action taken by courts against the government for not following orders and conduct biometrics of encroachers?
Well, the court can take suo motu contempt, and contempt is, it's not like perjury or contempt in the US. Contempt is a very, very weak thing in India. And courts, if they take suo motu, then then the Advocate General comes in the picture, etc., and all that. Very few people get punished under contempt of court. I will move a petition. I will move a contempt. And, like last year, I filed a contempt. And as people arguing party in person, we have great difficulties before Madras High Court. I moved a contempt against the commissioner and the secretary last year, and the cases were listed only, numbered and listed came before the court only this year. A very tedious process. Unfortunately, this is the current scenario.
Thank you so much, sir. And last question. Sorry about that. Mitra Mela wants to know, Tamil Nadu accounts for 70% of all antiquities stolen from Bharat. How do we stop it?
Throw HRNC out first.
Government is hand in glove in this. They don't want Hindus.
They have come up with icon centers, and according to 𝗤𝗏 𝗂𝘀𝗻, former Inspector General of Police, many of the icons inside the icon centers where they are supposed to be safeguarded, they have been replaced with duplicates. We need ASI and central government to come in this picture in a big way, in a very, very big way. Central government has responsibility in this. They should take over the structures of temples which are more than 300 years old, if not 100 years old, at least 300 years old. They should all come under the supervision of the ASI. Not a single brick should be moved without ASI supervision and technical guidance. We need to do this. I think we are concluded here.
Thank you, Bala, for your donation. Yeah, I think we're done for now, sir. Thank you so much. And viewers, Ramesh ji is dedicating his entire life to doing this. He took voluntary retirement. I'm saying some things without his permission. He took voluntary retirement from a very well-paying job. He was a vice president. And he has been dedicating himself to doing this because he's one of the few individuals who's a Vedic scholar. He knows a lot about temples. He knows about Agama Shastras. We are losing these, these multifaceted, multi-talented people. He also understands accounting. And it is because of these multi-skill set that government cannot bullshit their way through. Sorry to use French. And so what they do, they'll keep on asking, give me more time, because they don't have an answer. Unless people say that you DMK, you ADMK, you guys are plunderers, get out of my temple and vote them out decisively. That's a start. because I don't hold a lot of hope for BJP either. So we need to be on our vigil. This is our temple. This is our property.
You ADMK, you DMK, you BJP in Maharashtra, you BJP when you were in Karnataka. That also should be said. The
Yes.
Siddhivinayak temple in Mumbai is one of the most looted temple.
It's very unfortunate, guys. We are letting these politicians rob us. They rob the lands. And the reason why he insisted on biometrics is because the story is that a lot of that land has been encroached upon by other religious people, but they put Hindu names and try to hide under that. But when it comes to ownership, then the truth will have to come out. Otherwise, they are conceding that they don't own that land. You see how this thing goes. It's a nefarious scheme. Go around the temple of Madurai and you'll see how many churches and mosques have come up. Sir, go ahead, sir.
No. To just conclude, the stay order was given in 2019 against the lands being given to the encroachers by two great judges of the Madras High Court. One has since retired. The other judge is still there, so I'm not naming him. But we could see how, if we have sincere, honest judges on the bench, how the governments cannot, bulldoze their agenda, their vote bank politics, their fraudulent agenda. The judges were resolute. They threw the GO out. Fantastic judges. We have to bow before them.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Few good men still there. That's why Dharma is still prevailing in this land. Unfortunate, but that is the truth. So thank you so much, sir, once again. And thank you, Sushila ji, for your donation. Namaskaram.
Namaskar. Thank you.